What's up, you guys? This is Josh from Galaxy Shores, and I'm going to do a little breakdown video of I Guess It's Time. I've seen other artists do this. I think it's really cool. If you're interested to see how it was made in the little layers, then great. And if not, then you're probably not watching, and that's fine. So I Guess It's Time was essentially me learning how to use Ableton. It was the first song that I wrote in its entirety, so it was the first one that I really dove into and was determined to finish in its entirety. And so there's a lot in here that's wrong or unorthodox or whatever, but that's just because I was learning and I still don't know what I'm doing. So that's just where we're at. But yeah, let's dive in. So as far as drums, initially everything was MIDI. So everything was an Ableton preset, or it was like a MIDI drums. It was me just hitting the pads. So I had this kit based on Lonerism from Tame Impala, which was sort of the sound that I was going for. So it was like the kit that I used initially, which sounds like this. I thought that was fun. That's entertaining. Just because it's all MIDI. But yeah, so everything was MIDI. Like the guitar solos were MIDI, the drums were MIDI, the bass was all MIDI. So I had to basically go through and re-record everything analog once I had all the instruments. But yeah, the drums are just me on the drums. I wanted it to have sort of a blown out feel, which is why a lot of the snares are peaking or close to peaking. I just like the way that it sounds. But yeah, so I just basic. I have this couple plugins by Waves, an analog EQ and compressor that I have on there, and then just saturators, EQs. I have a flanger that I really like. I love the flange on the drums. I just think it's a fun effect. And then I have a Valhalla Vintage Verb, which I throw on everything: drums, vocals, synths, guitars. But yes, that's the drums. As far as instruments go, we have guitar. So this first main guitar lick was I just recorded it and then looped it, so it's just this. So that is the entire outro, and then it comes back later in the during the first solo. I just chopped it up, pasted it in there. I have a little wow sound that I recorded for a different take that I didn't end up using, but I kept it in. And then synths, because we're hearing the feedback right now, I have this rhythm synth that I made in Serum. Just a lot of movement, a lot of chorus. There's this Ableton preset that I really like. It sort of has an 80s Blade Runner kind of a feel. It's a huge swell. I thought that was really cool. And when you hit each individual note, I don't know, it just has this cool movement about it that I like. We have this Arpeggiator, which comes a few times. It's mainly in the interlude, but it comes here in the intro. Yeah, a little auto pan on that, just EQ, basic stuff. All the effects on these are just basic EQ, saturators, put a little filter, some chorus, big chorus fan. There's this other Ableton preset here that sort of has a very just keyboard feel to it that I liked. Yeah, there's that. We have the bass, which is just a mix of me playing the bass and this Ableton preset bass. So if you have one of them, and then the other one, and then if you combine them, so yeah, that's basically the song was very bass heavy, but yeah, it's there. and it's mainly me like playing the bass with this underneath, except for the bridge, which then I went only the Ableton bass because I wanted to have a very washed out synth feel. But yeah, so these main synths stay around most of the time. I'll play with like an auto filter at certain points in this one, just sort of give it a more, it's in the background kind of feel. But yeah, so then we have this, for a lead, we have this this is another Serum synth that like I have the auto pan on it. I basically just like swayed back and forth as I played it to like get the rhythm for the auto pan, but it's this. And it's cool, it's just in the background, add some movement. And then we have, sort of the, for the guitar, we have the solos here, which are fun. This is the first time I ever actually used pedals. I had like, a reverb pedal, a phaser pedal, and like a compression pedal for these two solos. So that's like where, like, there was the first time I was ever able to use those, which was fun. And then we have, let's see. I mean, the guitar, like this one section I basically chopped up. It's like 3 separate things of like, but like, in this one it has more chorus because it's in the pre-chorus section. And then I just took it and took the chorus off, added more distortion. And now, it's the chorus. Now it's rock and roll. Yeah, the bass there is all the same, the lead's the same. So for the bridge, we have this like really washed out, like if you play the whole thing, we have this just like it's really cool, very just spacey. Which is built out of these Ableton pads that I really like. Just an Ableton preset. Lead in here, that's another Ableton preset. And that's not it's not an ARP. It's just me, just like going slowly up the chords on the keyboard. But then we have the ARP comes back, just like some little ear candy. On one side, then the other. I love ARPs. They're fun. So then this whole bridge section sort of spirals into the like interlude, the little interlude jam that from the beginning I knew I wanted one, just purely self-indulgent, just to have fun. But I was, it's basically the negative thoughts from the bridge spiral into the, this interlude where like the thoughts build on top of each other. So we have this, main rhythm synth here, which is just Serum. And then we have the, the bass is basically this lick that I played. I just looped it. And then I added in the Ableton bass on top. So there's that. The guitar in this is originally just like these two, just like a loop of this 2-chord progression. But then it drops down, so the guitar is tuned in drop D, but you don't hear the top string until this, little section here. I just, made the guitar way dirtier, way more distortion. It's not looped anymore. It's more playing through, more jamming. We also have this, for leads, we have this main lead, which is like, I called it a whiny saw lead just because it has this sort of like sort of tone to it. Forgive whatever that noise was. But yeah, lots of fun movement in there. I actually put a drum bus on it to make it thicker, which was fun. There's like a little auto filter in here in Serum. That's neat because it's like phasing, but only on one side. So the phasing only happens like in your left ear, which I'm sure isn't noticeable, but to me it just added one extra little cool thing in there. Then we have the Arpeggiator, which comes in. It's like, I call it the liquid arp in here because it just like, especially when it moves really fast, it just sounds like it's sort of being like poured out on top of everything. Yeah, so I basically just turned the arp up all the way once everything else was recorded, and I just like played with a knob until I just basically turned the free rate up and down, and it's like soloed with the arp just to give it a ton of movement, which you can see it's like let's see, there's the, yeah, you can just see it's all the movement varies a ton as I was just playing with it. And then we have the synth kind of cool effect in here is I wanted it to flutter and sort of like a boom, 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 but I didn't know how to do that, so I just used the auto pan and just like crunched it up, automated a sub oscillator in there, and sort of just so it does this. So that's fun. But yeah, so then we have the outro, which is just, it starts out with just the keys and this neat little guitar lick, which was actually my first attempt. Normally not like that, but this one it just sounded cool and it had the feel that I wanted, so I kept it. But we have this. Which is fun, and then everything comes back in the main rhythm synth from the intro and the chorus, and the that swell synth comes back, and the arpeggiator comes back. I just basically use the chords from this swell into the arpeggiator, just put it in the left ear, sort of bubble in there for you. And then I basically took this is all one through take, but I looped everything else. So like the guitar is just looped, and the drums are looped. And then the bass is looped as well. You can hear that. So if you combine them all, but with no vocals. That's what we sort of get there. And then I just, I slowly crank the flanger on the drums and the instruments, the instrument bus, just to make everything sound like super, super chaotic and washed out before it all just, cuts out at the end. As far as vocals go, not a lot to write home about here. Very simple, just because I didn't really know what I was doing. I have just, verse. I have a fake double that I made just by augmenting, I think, a little bit of the compression. And then I have the effects down here, which is just the delay, which I wanted a little more control over it, so I made it its own layer. But we have, basic EQ, compression, little waves, analog EQ there. Ableton's de-esser, which actually is useless, but it's there. And then it washes out a little bit more for the chorus, a little more reverb, a little heavier on the reverb. We actually have a real double on the chorus, which is cool. And then for the bridge, it's even more, soaked in the reverb, and everything's a lot more spaced out. So there's, the verse is a lot drier.
Don't wanna kill what we have, so for now I'll just live inside my imagination.
Then you go to the bridge.
But what if I'm wrong? What if things change? What if she doesn't feel the same?
So yeah, and the delay is very much focused on I wanted the consonants to come through. So like if there's an S or a T or like a K, I want it to like, you know, just to add another little cool layer sound in there. I want to say, I think that's it. I think we've covered it all. Yeah, this was, you know, I essentially learned how to use Ableton through this song, and I'm continuing to learn how to use Ableton and track everything. So the songs will only get better from here, and the videos will too. I've never done anything like this, so thanks for bearing with me if you've made it this far. And thanks for streaming the songs. It like there's a lot of hours in here just like tinkering and messing around, so it means a lot that you guys listen and that you guys like it. So the next video will be cleaner than this. But yeah, thank you guys. Let's do a little outro here and then we'll be gone.